not quite 1/4 and never just half, but the entirety of one primate, whole. It is the part of a story, an idea that means more to you than me. Hello and welcome to Full Gorilla Life. We are Jeremy Keene,
Larry Medina, and Corey Hewlings.
Each week, we will break down an important life concept or talk with an inspiring person so that you can live your full gorilla life.
What up? Welcome back. Today we got Kim Artlip in the studio with Ignite Wrestling. We're going to talk to her about how she got into professional wrestling and the shows that she does and just kind of her story about how she got underway. Say what's up, Kim.
How you guys doing? This is odd because I have never done a podcast where I've been in the same room. I've always done them by phone. So
we find that, we've done several by phone when we have to, but it's not the same energy.
No.
It's absolutely not the same energy.
Never.
Like, I want to see somebody's face, you know? I want to know that they're not trailing off and that I'm not trailing off.
Right. Yeah. It just makes it way more fluid, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because you hear that silence and you're like, do I talk?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. All right. So before we get into who Kim is and what you do exactly, we'd like to run you through the Gorilla Gauntlet. If that's okay. All right. So first off, married or single? Married. Children?
I have a son that lives in Ohio that's 35.
Okay. City you live in?
Vero Beach.
iPhone or Android?
I'm on an Android, but I'd rather have an iPhone.
You want an Android?
I have an Android.
Oh, you have? Oh, but you'd rather have?
I'd rather have, because I have a MacBook. I'd like to sync.
Okay.
Yeah, we talk
Have you
about
had
that every
an iPhone
time.
before? Or?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
What made you switch?
I switched carriers, and I wasn't paying $800 for a phone.
Understood. I can respect that.
It's very hard.
Yeah, like I used to be the guy that would upgrade every other year, and I think this might be the first year that I'm gonna say I can wait a third year.
But I have I think it's an LG Stylo, and to me, it's so much like an iPhone anyway. So
Yeah. I feel like most of them try to.
I feel like more and more they're mimicking because for me, Apple is just ease of use.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So favorite movie or book?
Dirty Dancing.
Okay. Don't put baby in a corner.
Never put baby.
I can appreciate that. Reservation or just walk in?
Walk in.
Okay. Yep. That makes three of us. Favorite? Yeah. No. Sorry. Favorite genre of music? I missed that.
Hard rock or metal.
Okay.
Who's your favorite band?
Avenged Sevenfold.
Great band. Great band.
Yeah.
Do you like Avenged Sevenfold?
I've heard them, but I don't know a lot about them.
You were always a Metallica guy too.
Yeah. So I like heavy stuff. I like,
Which is weird because his career was rapping, but
yes,
he was a big metal guy.
Yeah, 100%. Rage Against the Machine. I'm more. Yeah. All right. So favorite type of food?
Tacos.
With what sauce? With what hot sauce?
The garlic habanero.
Right. Made by?
Ignite Wrestling.
There we go. No shameless plug.
Yeah. No.
I'm kidding.
I didn't do the hashtag symbol.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Hashtag shameless plug.
What do you drive?
I drive a Kia Soul.
All right. Beer, whiskey, or wine?
Whiskey, absolutely.
Always.
Straight.
Straight. Okay. Is there a brand that you like the best?
Jack.
Okay. It's always Jack. Yeah.
So what is straight? Is that on ice or not? Just a shot. Okay.
Oh no, I'm not watering that down.
Okay.
Because
we had somebody who was
clean. Was it clean?
Clean.
Some people like
simple. Simple. What'd she call
I think
it?
it's
some people call it neat.
Neat. Yes.
See, you're a whiskey drinker.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just drink beer.
If I'm gonna have alcohol, I want as much alcohol with as little having to go to the bathroom because I've drank so much water with
it. That makes sense.
I just want my alcohol now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can understand that because me, like with the beer, I'll be like, all right, I got to go to the bathroom every 30 minutes or so, right? Just depends how much you're drinking.
Yeah.
So.
And I never acquired a taste for wine, so.
Yeah, I haven't either, really. I've tried, although I got introduced to port wine,
That's good. Yeah.
and
I've had it. I'll go to events. I hold it, but I don't really drink it.
okay,
You really class it up when you got the wine glass in your hand, right? And you swirl it around like, yes, I'm very classy.
yes, that's how we roll. All right, so yeah, so if you don't mind, maybe we can get into
Ignite Wrestling, what's it about? How'd you get started? Give us the whole story.
Longtime fan.
A fan of like WWF, WWE.
The old WWF. My first show, I was 5.
Oh, you went to a show at 5.
My first live show was when I was 5 in New Martinsville, West Virginia, in the high school gym where I grew up. Bruno Sammartino, and Batman was there to save Bruno from the bad guys.
no way.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Adam West.
No, somebody dressed as Batman. It wasn't
Okay,
the real
okay,
it wasn't-
okay.
Sadly,
But-
wasn't the real one.
But for the kid, you're like, as a kid, you're like, whoa.
Batman's here.
Okay, okay, and he saved the day.
And he saved him from, I forget who it was, but it was some jobber.
And it was Bruno.
It was Bruno himself.
Okay, because that's a big deal in the wrestling community. Because Bruno was like the big name back then, right?
Bruno was champion for like 18 years.
Right. He was like the Ric Flair.
Yes. He was the everything
Yeah.
for the longest time. And
So was Bruno before like Hogan then?
yes.
Oh yeah.
Bruno, it was,
He's the OG.
oh yeah, it was Bruno, then Backlund for a couple years.
I've never heard of Backlund.
Well, Bob Backlund.
Okay. Yes.
Who was, you went from this rugged Pittsburgh Italian wrestler to this bland vanilla dude that was like such a face, that was really technical, Olympic style wrestler.
Okay.
Boring as toast.
Okay. All right.
And he
You mean plain toast?
plain white, flavorless, generic toast.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So Bruno Sammartino. So you went to see Bruno. Batman saved him.
Who took you to the show?
My dad.
Okay.
My dad and I loved wrestling. That was the one thing that we did do together and everything. And it was probably one of the coolest things he thought I ever did in my life was when I became a promoter. And he did get to live to see me do a promoter, and he did get to live to see me do a show in Orlando during WrestleMania week.
That's awesome. That's because I remember like that directly brings me back. I'm not a huge wrestling fan, professional wrestling, but I do remember being a young child and watching wrestling with my dad. And the greatest part was I do remember loving the show, watching wrestling on TV, but we always get to wrestle with dad during the commercials, afterwards. Like we got to wrestle on and there were 6 of us. So it was 6 on 1,
Battle Royal.
But I look back and I remember those days still, and I remember that being the bonding being the greatest part of wrestling, because we just got to hang out with dad, and dad liked wrestling and we liked wrestling, and we got to wrestle dad, it was just, I do remember it being a great, and as I got older, I was in high school wrestling and Olympic style wrestling, but I really never had the, affinity to keep watching it or anything like that. Off and on, I would watch it, here and there. But I do, that really brings me back that, it was a bonding experience with your father.
Yeah, we would go to my grandmother's every Sunday for dinner, and that's when the WWF show was on. So we would eat dinner, we'd go in the living room, we'd watch the WWF. And my grandmother was one of those people, if you've ever been to a sporting event that you don't sit beside, because she kicked and punched and grunted and threw stuff and screamed.
Yeah.
And I talked about that when I did my I did the TEDx event. For the longest time, no one wanted to go watch wrestling with her, and she couldn't understand why, because she was beating the crap out of us.
Just as long as she didn't do the Hogan leg drop on you.
No, this was still the Bruno era. Ivan Putski, Stan Hansen, clear up until we stopped watching it with her. We had to stop watching it with her. Probably it was like 70. I want to say 79, 80.
Okay, because she was just too rugged.
She just she didn't have the heart to do it at that point. It was too exhausting, so we couldn't let her watch it because she was having heart palpitations.
Wow. Okay. That's passion.
Yeah.
A straight passion.
Yeah, we had to block CNN. We couldn't even let her watch CNN because that upset her.
Okay. Fair enough.
She was a very passionate person, and you know, when you get to be that age and you start to have strokes and
Yeah, you don't want to work yourself up for.
No.
Yeah, we couldn't. We had to keep her on, you know, Nickelodeon and stuff.
Okay.
So how do you become, all right, so there's a process, right? Like you obviously loved wrestling,
Yes.
right? And you've loved it for a while. So how do you come to the conclusion that I want to become a promoter?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because a lot
You
of
start
people,
at 5-year-old you, go to your first show, right? And you continue watching it, I assume.
I wanted to be a wrestler.
okay.
I really did want to be a wrestler. I went to college. I had a son while I was in college.
What would have been your finishing move?
My finishing move would have been a swanton off the top turnbuckle.
Okay.
Absolutely. Oh, I'd have been a diver. But, you know, life got in the way, and I had a son and married and didn't get to follow that.
What'd you go to college for?
I was a pre-law major.
Okay.
But I ended up with, I have a degree in, what do I have a degree in? Business.
Business?
Business management, psychology minor, and a master's in business industrial psychology.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. That's
Which
awesome.
helps me herd wrestlers.
Okay. I can imagine. Yeah.
But no, you know, it was just one of those things where, from a business standpoint, because I had home businesses and did different things, it just made sense to me to, you know, that this could be something that we don't have here in Vero in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And we need guys in tiny pants and girls in tiny pants. And I make that joke a lot, and people get so mad when I say that. But
No,
you look
it's
at
true, though.
there's nothing to do family friendly here.
Agreed.
You have no, you have kids sports, you have occasional boxing and MMA, but there's nothing that you can take the whole family to and just act like a lunatic.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I like about wrestling, because we encourage you to bring signs and scream and yell and, you know, have a good time and, you know, pose for pictures and hashtag us and everything and videos. We don't care.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we want you, the whole thing when we started this, me and when I talked to a couple of the wrestlers that were really supportive, was I wanted to create something that people never forgot. It was an experience they would always remember. And we've had a lot of people that are, you know, never been to a wrestling show that are now going, that are my age. And they're friends of mine, and they're like, I don't know what to expect. And they're just having a grand old time at it.
Okay. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That is spectacular. So you obviously you have an affinity for wrestling the whole way through college, and you know you're thinking about being a wrestler. But like you said, life gets in the way.
Yes.
What brings you back to it? How do you start?
When I was running, I had a company called TC Chronicle, and it was a community events website and newspaper here in north end of the county. And I covered some other local shows, Port St. Lucie and Lauderdale and West Palm. And some of the stuff that wasn't being done right, I just felt that I could do a better job. And if you approached it as a business and a business model, that it would work, rather than a bunch of guys playing at being a wrestling show. And that's what it actually turned out to be. Was they weren't serious, they didn't have budgets, they weren't doing things the way
Okay, so they didn't have the business side of it down.
Oh,
So
no, absolutely not.
So you ran a business called TC Chronicle?
Yes.
And that was your business?
Yes.
So you've always been an entrepreneur?
I've done retail. I've done, you know, office and retail and management, but I like working for myself, because you get to a point when I was in my 30s that I got tired of making everybody else money, and having, you know, I was living someone else's dream and I wasn't living my own anymore.
Okay.
That's understandable.
Yeah. So when did you come to that realization? In your 30s? I mean, I know you said that,
Yeah,
but
I came down to Florida when I was 38, 39. So
Was there like a tipping point that you were like, all right, I'm going to make my
your
own?
aha moment.
I came down here. I had a couple jobs that I didn't like, And I finally, after a couple, I actually was working for a company and I was ill, and I tried to tell them I was sick, and they were like, "You got to get your monthly report done. You got to do this. You got to do that." And I'm like, on my heart's like skipping beats, and I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Well, you're not leaving. I got up and walked out the door and went straight to the emergency room. My potassium was so low they couldn't believe I could drive my car to the emergency room at that point. And I spent 3 days in a hospital, and I went back and told them, I'm not coming back. I'm done. Then I went to work from home for a company called On Point, which does legislative letters where you write your congressman on different topics. And I haven't worked in an office or outside the home since, and that was since 04.
Wow.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. How did you find On Point? I'm just saying because like back in 04, right? Like it wasn't like.
Actually, I had a company before TC Chronicle. I have a website called Work at Home Mafia.
I like the name.
And we're family. We're the family that works at home. But I didn't like what I was looking for legitimate jobs, and I created a website, and I did that for 8 years. I ran that as a business for 8 years, and then transitioned from that to TC Chronicle, and then from TC Chronicle, everything I've done, and I've worked independent contractor jobs in between. I worked for one of the biggest tech platforms in the world that does daily deal sites as a project manager. That was paying for a lot of stuff until that was bought out. But I haven't been outside the home working since 04. So
Wow, that's awesome.
Good for you. So you're working for yourself, and then you go to a show, and you're like, I can do this better.
yeah, but I didn't like jump right in. A lot of people think that I said, "Oh, I'm going to be a promoter," and next week I was a promoter. No, I spent about 8 months studying and getting to know the guys, and I was doing merchandise. I was doing T-shirts for some of the wrestlers, Lindsay Dorado, that's in the WWE, and a bunch of the different guys. And Lindsay was great, and Aaron Epic, who's our current champion. They took the time to sit down and explain to me what worked, what didn't work, what other promoters were doing, who was toxic, who was good, you know.
So you put in the legwork. It wasn't just you jumping in. And
I did a lot of research, and I had a lot of mistakes in the beginning, and I almost my first show was actually under a different name because I was going to collaborate with another company, and then I decided that wasn't a fit for me, and went from Real Pro Wrestling Florida to becoming Ignite. We've been Ignite ever since.
So Real Pro Wrestling Florida, did you concentrate only in this area?
Yes.
Or okay.
We were going to collaborate with another. There was Real Pro Wrestling Florida East and West, and West was not a fit.
Okay.
They didn't see things the way that being the guy that was doing my social media saw it. And we did a show in Port St. Lucie that was it was our first show, was the worst experience I've ever had.
How come?
Anything.
And that was as Real Pro Wrestling,
Real
not
Pro
as
Wrestling. Because the guy that ran the other company didn't listen to instructions and destroyed equipment that didn't belong to me that I had to pay for. And when I tried to talk to him about it, he said, but the crowd enjoyed it. And I said, this is not a fit for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, because the crowd's not paying for that.
No.
So
Well, essentially they are, and I understand that side of it, but
No,
if there's got to be some type, it's a business, like you said.
Well, the thing was,
if you're not,
I had rented a ring from a company that supplies rings in Orlando. He went into their truck, took their ladder, their chairs, and everything, and totally destroyed them. So I not only damaged my relationship with that guy, but it totally undermined any control I had.
yeah,
And so, yeah, that was the end of that. And I basically told him I can't work with somebody that's got their foot on my neck, because that's the way I felt.
yeah.
You know, you have no respect for me.
That obviously shows like a blatant disregard for any control like you had.
He wanted a sugar mama. That's what he wanted.
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty rough, right? So that's your first show.
Yes.
Right. And at this point, what are you thinking? Are you thinking I made a big mistake, or are you thinking I'll just get better at it next time?
I had a lot of notes, so I knew the first one was going to be odd. It wasn't going to go well.
Sure.
But the first year was a total learning experience. And I was doing everything myself. I had one guy helping with social media and graphics, and I was booking and doing the promoting.
And what year was this?
This was 2015.
Okay.
So I was booking the wrestlers, writing the card, running the locker room. I was doing everything, and trying to oversee merchandise and help with the door.
And TC Chronic.
And TC Chronicle had phased out. I phased it out, right? And still doing a radio show.
Wow.
And on Planet Vero, and I had to learn to give up a lot of control and find people that I could trust and work
delegate to.
And
how hard was that?
Oh, that was terrible.
Right? It's got to be.
Because it's like, I'll just do it myself. I know how I want it done, right?
It's my baby.
Yeah. And, having people, working with people that I'm very specific about the message and the theme and the tone, and they're being very snarky and unprofessional and catty and posting comments as the company that wouldn't be stuff that I wanted to say. And I ended up taking over all social media and networking and marketing.
And I've heard that before from a lot of small businesses that they want to control their social media, because in this day and age, like, social media is kind of your voice.
Yes.
And it's very hard to relate your voice through somebody else.
Well, I'm very, I won't say obsessive, but I'm very particular that my social media is never negative. Even my personal social media.
I can appreciate that.
And
there's too much of that already.
Yeah, no politics, no occasional profanity, because I use profanity.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Like air. I'm sorry, guys. It will pop out. But no, it's, even my personal social media represents the brand.
Yeah.
And having people that, were thinking they were Wendy's when they're not, and roasting people is not something I do.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's funny, because Wendy's does do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I find.
That's what they're known for.
They're funny, and they're pretty good at it. I'll give them that.
No, I'll give that too,
but most of the time you can tell it's in good fun too, and that's kind of their shtick.
It's not mean, but this guy, this kid he got some of the things he said was a little too personal and private for my taste.
Got it.
Yeah.
No, you can't do that.
No.
Yeah.
You can't do
Especially when you're building a brand. You don't want negativity to be associated with your brand.
Yeah, I ended up giving up control of the booking, and
so the booking, what do you mean by booking? Is that booking the events, the arenas, the wrestlers, all of it?
He does the wrestlers, he runs the locker room, and he sets the finishes and the times. Because wrestling, I'll break kayfabe here, our shows are predetermined.
Really?
Yes. Really? And there's people who are just like, you can't say that. I can say anything I want, man.
You can't. It's your business. Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same as any other show or entertainment. You're gonna go watch Batman in the movie theater, and
it's predetermined.
It's predetermined.
I'm not a licensed sport. I am considered theatrical staged entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have to have a promoter's license like MMA.
Yeah, there's completely different regulations there, and for good reason too. Because MMA, there's a possibility somebody gets killed in the ring.
Yes.
I mean, not that bad things can't happen in professional wrestling too, but a lot less likely, we'll say.
We've been fortunate, and I'll probably end up regretting saying that. We've been fortunate that no one's been seriously injured. We've had a couple people that have bumped their head or something, and sprained ankles and a couple little cuts.
Don't worry, folks. I just knocked on wood for her.
But I mean, I've got friends that and guys that work for me that have been at shows where they were sliding into the ring and dislocated their shoulder.
Yeah.
They're doing a simple move they've done 100 times and blow their knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? I mean, what was it? I think The Rock, he was talking about when he was filming for Ballers or one of the movies where he was a quarterback. He said he just was walking and his MCL or ACL went.
Yeah.
And, it could just happen at any point in time. So, yeah, you've been really fortunate,
So how's that work? You book the wrestlers, and are they responsible for their own insurance and well-being and stuff?
They're independent contractors.
Okay.
So they waive us of responsibility, but I do have event insurance for the attendees.
Yes.
If somebody gets hurt, because we will say during the shows, if you see a wrestler coming near you, please get out of the way, because they do dive into the crowd.
Yeah.
in the chairs.
That's awesome.
And we had a really bizarre thing happen last show. One of the guys went to hit a guy with a chair in the ring, and he's done it a dozen times. The guy threw his arm up, it flipped out, landed in the crowd, and shattered the guy's beer mug in his hand.
Okay.
But the guy wasn't hurt. And
That seems like good entertainment, though.
and John and Serpentico. Serpentico says, "Hey, I owe you a beer." So and the guy's like, "Hey, cool." You know, the guy's really cool. He says, "This is the coolest thing that's ever happened to me." And I was like,
That's awesome.
And I'm over there having a stroke. Going,
Yeah.
"Oh my God, are you hurt?" And he's like, "No, it's okay."
Yeah,
This is
look,
this is the beer I want. And I'm like, okay. And I ran over and grabbed him a beer.
yeah, no, like the way I would look at it is, if that happened to me, I'm at an event, I'm part of the event now.
Yes.
This is my limelight. You know, guys, look at me.
Hey, Mom,
okay?
look at me.
I mean, in the video, he's in the match. He's like, "I owe you a beer," you know.
That's awesome.
It seems like great content. I'll be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
From content creator to content creator, that seems like great content. I know you don't really want to risk that every time, but it does seem like great content.
Yeah, look, if you see me out there, feel free. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So
I'll just be handing you beers.
Okay.
there we go. There we go. So yeah, so
So you give up control
Yes,
and
of booking.
of some of the aspects of
Yes.
it, of the booking, and does that make the business better? Do you feel? Is it harder, easier?
It's so much nicer because then I don't have to have the conversations with the guy. I mean, they do talk to me, but I don't have the conversation where they're like negotiating their rate or renegotiating their rate or, you know, asking, you know, who am I wrestling? What am I doing? What's you know, Aaron handles all of that.
Yeah, and which I assume, how many matches are usually in like an event when you
6
get
to 7.
6 to 7? So you got 12 to 14 different contractors essentially as wrestlers, right?
Up to 22.
Okay.
Because
because you got tag teams, stuff like that.
We dark match. The dark match might be 4 to 6 guys.
what does that mean, dark match?
That's the untaped. That's the pre-show match.
Okay.
We don't always necessarily video it. We will video it, but we may not put it on the finished DVD.
Okay.
And online. It's mainly the guys that are in training, and it's a training video for them.
Okay.
So can people watch it on TV?
Roku, Fire TV, YouTube,
Okay.
Okay.
Pivot Share.
So
Fight
do you guys
TV.
live on YouTube, or is it?
No.
Okay.
We're delayed because I added
Yeah, it just makes a
And-
better
and put the-
viewing experience a lot of times.
and we just added a commentary team, which was something
that's
we
awesome.
really hadn't done.
who does your commentary?
The guy's name is the Young Professor out of Daytona.
Okay.
He's an MMA announcer. He does the Jacksonville Sharks.
Okay.
He does pro wrestling. He does commentary, and he does the trivia shows all over Central Florida.
Okay.
And
how's that working out for you?
this will be our second show with him. He's fantastic. It's him and a guy named Styx. They've been working together for the past year and a half every week.
Okay.
And
So they got some chemistry already.
Such chemistry.
Okay. And
That's
you
awesome.
got to have that though. Whenever you got commentary,
Absolutely.
like because if the one person doesn't really mesh with the other one, I've heard some awful like commentaries on like MMAs. And,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, we had a really good guy that did it, that runs a company called Punk Pro, and he runs a merchandise company called Fully Gimmick. Zach's great. I love Zach and his wife, but they're so busy and they're already on their own brand. It just seemed a little weird to me to have them on my brand.
Okay.
Because I did, we share a lot of the workers, and I run at noon. They run at 8 over in Newport Richie, and I was like, yeah, let's not be so much in each other's heads
Right.
here.
Right.
Okay. You said you run at noon?
Yes.
Like that the time you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Our shows are at noon
Okay. And then they run a show at 8 o'clock?
in Newport Richie generally.
Okay. Yeah, that seems like
Well, they're 3 hours away, 3 hours away.
Yeah.
But for us, it works out because we get a couple larger names, we share them, and we share transportation, and we can get a better negotiated rate.
Okay.
So, and we love each other.
Okay.
They're great guys.
Yeah, and in Florida, it seems like we should be able to get good talent here in Florida, right? Because I mean, you have the WWE
You
in Orlando.
You have the Performance Center. You have the Dudley Boys School. You have Dory Funk has a school. If you remember the Funk
I do.
Brothers, that's up in Ocala. You have Jay Lethal from Ring of Honor over in Tampa.
I had no idea we were like a big
And
Yeah.
pro wrestling state.
huge the CCW down south, which is a lot of the lucha guys are trained out of.
So the only reason why I know about the Orlando WWE Performance Center is because my cousin's husband was going down there to train for I want to say for like 2 years or so. I don't know if he's still doing it or not, but yeah, he was going down there and doing the character development and getting things set up, and it was just really interesting to hear the whole process.
Oh yeah, I mean it's more than just getting in the ring. There's so much more about presence and learning where the cameras are, and so yeah, it's
Oh
kind
yeah,
of,
because you're a live stage actor at this point, you know,
Yes.
and that can't be done easily.
and they have to play to the cameras too.
Yeah.
And we found a really good camera guy that's he's also part of it's called the Gorilla Press. He's also partners with
like the
our
name.
commentary team. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surrounded by gorillas.
I guess so.
Yeah.
And I wrote up until a couple months ago. I was a writer on a blog called The Gorilla Position. So
Oh, okay.
I've had a lot of
Look at
gorilla
that.
in my life.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a great animal.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They wear top hats. On T-shirts and on Friday nights.
As long as they like hot sauce, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. All right, yeah. So you gave up bookings. What else did you have to relinquish on?
Not really much else. I mean, because
So this is 2015. You have your first show,
yeah,
right?
2016. We did I want to say 6, 7, 8 or 9 shows in 2000.
Wow.
I feel like that's a lot. Is that a lot or no?
We ran monthly up until from January to May. Then we ran 3 more shows, went to bi-monthly, and then we took a break, and then we came back and did started going every 3 to 4 months.
Okay.
3 to 4 months works better for me because running monthly, number one, Walking Tree doesn't want us there every month.
Okay.
I can guarantee you.
And that's your main venue,
And that's
correct?
our main venue, and we were very fortunate to find them, and they're just fantastic to work with.
And it's a huge place.
And we have so much room, and we go and actually they open at 2, so we actually start our shows before they're actually open.
Oh, okay.
So
So it kind of brings them in a crowd before they.
yeah, we bring all the beer drinking wrestling fans in.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, we have food trucks and vendors.
It's mutually beneficial.
And it works out because people see cars, and then other people stop by to see what's going on at Walking Tree, and that's how a lot of people found us. They've just been driving around, and hey, there's a crowd at Walking Tree.
I actually saw it on Facebook last time you were there.
Yeah.
I saw that there was a wrestling, but it was after the fact, and I was like, I didn't know they had wrestling there.
And I feel like that 3 to 4 month mark, almost to me, it would build up the anticipation. Like if I was, you know,
It makes it more of an event.
yeah.
I didn't want.
I
it to
feel
be-
like a monthly thing. You're
Yeah.
almost you get used to it, and then you stop going. You're like,
Well, it got to be annoying. I mean, we were doing it at Fort Pierce, the National Guard Armory, but
okay,
which was a fantastic facility. But
Yeah.
they converted it from military police to military transport, and they renovated the building, and it's no longer rentable.
oh, okay,
But we loved working with the National Guard.
yeah,
That was a very cool spot. But because it was near Avenue D, we couldn't get a lot of people from Vero to go down because they're not going near Avenue D in Fort Pierce.
Right.
and people's perceptions are
Yeah,
reality.
perceptions,
you know, even
Yeah.
though you know
It
not that way at all. You know, there's bad parts of every
I
city.
mean,
You know,
we had MPs there and cops and security and everything. Nothing was going to
and
happen.
again, I would walk down Avenue D right now. Like it wouldn't
It's
bother
actually
me.
much nicer than it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
agree.
perception is reality,
Yes.
and that
Well,
certainly can
I live
affect.
in Gifford, and people go, "Why would you live in Gifford?" Because my rent for a 4.2 is $900.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. So, all right. So 2015, 2016, you said 6 to 8 shows?
Let's see, 26. Yeah, no, 2016 we did 8 or 9 shows.
8 or 9 shows. Okay.
2017 we did WrestleMania when it was in Orlando.
Okay. What do
Okay.
you mean by that? You did a show over
We
there?
did a show in Orlando during WrestleMania week.
Okay. And I assume that's a big draw because there's a lot of people in town for WrestleMania?
So many people. There were 38 independent shows that ran during that 5-day period.
Okay.
So, like, we were there, then after we left the building, another company came in. So it was just like every place you could get a show in, they were stacking shows.
Okay.
And we had people from Japan walk into our show, Australia and Canada.
Okay.
That
That's
just
awesome.
found us on a blog that said WrestleMania shows.
Now, is there, because what is the big dog right now? It's not WWF anymore, right? Is it
WWE.
WWE?
It's still the big dog.
There's
Okay.
always going to be.
Because it was WCW, right?
For
Is
a
that what I
while.
remember?
They were battling for a while, but
WWF and WCW.
And then
right?
they ended up being bought out by the WWE.
Okay, so
Right.
they merged together. Now, is there any independent show that's like bigger than the rest of them?
TNT.
Is there anybody
AEW.
AEW?
Which is a new one that Tony Khan started up in that owns Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
A billionaire. So he's got the money.
That comes
you have
down to it.
AEW. You have Ring of Honor. You have Impact, which still
I've heard of Impact.
They
before.
film up at Universal.
Okay.
Isn't that Sting's in there, right?
Not anymore. I don't.
He
think
used to
so.
be.
He used to be.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
now Sammy Callahan, Dave Christ, Tully Blanchard's daughter.
So there's
Tessa.
some other big ones out there still.
And then you have MLW that started about a year or so ago.
Okay.
Major League Wrestling, which goes all over. And then after that, it's pretty much the independent scene.
Okay. So those are not those ones really aren't considered independents. Those like the Impact and
No,
stuff.
they're not considered indie.
Okay. I
They're
gotcha.
considered they're companies.
Yeah, because they air on networks.
Yeah, they're on BNTV. They're on USA. They're on
Yeah.
Access. and,
Is there
Yeah, because the WWE is now like on Fox Sports.
and USA Network.
so
And-
is there
Yeah.
like a goal for Ignite? Like would it to be to get there, or is the goal for Ignite to be independent, be what you are, be local entertainment for families and
The goal for us is to be the place that you are at on your way to the WWE.
okay, that's what I'm getting at. Okay.
We want to be a proving ground.
Okay.
And we
Which is kind of cool though, right? Because you get to see people come through on their way up.
well,
and
Lindsay Dorado was with us for the first year. Danny Burch, who's now in NXT, Lacey Lane has moved up. Santana Garrett's worked for us. Leo Rush has worked for us. Who else?
And when these people come in, like these bigger names that have made it, do you see a difference? Like, do you know, like when you see him, you're like, that guy's going somewhere. Like,
Well, Santana, you always knew that.
okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, whenever you seen him, you were like, okay, yeah, he's going places.
When the first time I met Lacey Lane, she was trained by the Dudley Boys. John Cruz was her trainer that wrestled for me, and he said, "I have a girl. I want you to give her ring time too. She's going to end up in the WWE."
Okay.
And she's in NXT now.
So what do you think is the difference between like a Lacey Lane and everybody else?
Lacey Lane is an NCAA, athlete.
Okay.
Division I basketball player. Extremely athletic, extremely focused, extremely. She has she has no fear.
She just grinds.
This girl's a lucha style. They changed her name to something Caden something, but if you look her up,
Now-
she came in her first match doing stuff that 3 months into doing live shows, doing stuff that guys that had been 5 years doing weren't doing.
Okay. So do you see an extreme advantage to people like that have been athletes or who are like higher caliber, like actual athletes than like the showmanship side of it? Because I definitely see how you
Yeah.
need both of them.
I've got guys that have wrestled collegiate wrestling
Uh-huh.
that aren't as good as some of the people that have more of an acting background.
Yeah, I can
So
see that.
It really, really does depend on your ability to sell yourself to the crowd.
I can see that.
Aaron, who's our champion, doesn't do the moves. He's 30, I want to say 33, 34 now.
Uh-huh.
He can't do the moves he did 7 years ago, but he is a tremendous heel.
Okay.
And he can work the crowd, and there's things that he can do that he can't physically do, but he can make you hate him like nobody's business.
And that's key
Yes.
in wrestling, because if you hate somebody, you want to see him get beat,
Oh, absolutely.
right? And that's just like I'm seeing this even in the UFC,
Yes.
where there's a guy named Colby Covington, and he and people.
Listen, she's in the know. She knows who Colby
Yeah,
Covington is.
but
I just know everybody hates him.
everybody
Yes,
hates him, right?
But
And-
if he wanted to be a professional wrestler for you, you'd hire him right away, right?
No,
Really?
there's no training.
No, but I mean, this
but,
is true.
but based
Yeah.
on his ability to be a heel,
He would be a good he would be a good person to do spots with. I will say that. I mean, he would be cool to have a confrontation with and a stare down
yeah.
and get on the mic if he could get on the mic. Some guys, we don't let a lot of people get on the mic because some guys totally suck on the mic. And,
sure.
And
I think, and going back to MMA, I think that's McGregor's. That's probably his best attribute is on the mic.
Yeah.
he can talk, but
Yeah.
some of these guys get on there and it's just like, it's like they can't fight their way out of a paper bag when you put a mic.
Oh
in.
yeah.
Stone Cold and The Rock were the best ever,
Yes.
in my opinion.
But when he had the gimmick when he was Stunning Steve in WCW, and they didn't give him a mic, and they had him as this pretty boy, athletic blonde wrestler,
Right.
nobody cared about him.
No, but once he got on the mic,
Once he got that persona and the swagger and sold that. And
what?
Yeah.
When he got on, like when he would interrupt people would be talking, be like, "What?
What?
What?" Like, I don't know. Like Stone Cold was him and The Rock were hands down the best.
I was actually helped out at a show. They asked me if I'd come in and play their manager, or not their manager, but their general manager. And they said, we want you to come out and do Vicky Guerrero. And we want you to go, excuse me? I said, there ain't no way I'm doing that. I cannot stand that woman.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But that's good, right? Because you can't stand her, which makes you want to watch her.
But the problem is there's only a certain types of personalities and roles for women in wrestling. You're either eye candy valet, you're either the screaming manager, you're the diva wrestler. There's only a handful of female ring announcers, or you're just a witch. And I don't agree with that. And a lot of these guys will get on social media and they want to play the jerk. And even when they're not on a show, they're in their persona. And it's like, quit trolling and commenting on everybody's stuff.
Right.
Because there's so many guys being a jerk that, y'all are bad at it. So.
That's understandable.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
And they try to get me to make comments and get into conversation. And it's just like, no.
Yeah, no.
I'm not going to argue with you because at the end of the day, I don't care.
So, who's been your favorite wrestler of all time?
Stan Hansen.
I don't
Broke Bruno Sammartino's neck, 1976, Madison Square Garden.
Okay. What made you like him so much? Because back then there wasn't a lot of mic work, right? Or was there?
No, there wasn't. He was just a hoss, a big old rough and tumble Texas boy that did a lariat and a bulldog, and he just, for me, I just loved the fact that he was an establishment and he didn't look like everybody else.
I was expecting you to say Jimmy Superfly because of the, he was a high flying.
There's a story about Jimmy Superfly, and you'll like this, because everybody says wrestling is fake. He got drunk in a bar back in the 70s, and it took 18 cops to get him down.
Yeah, those guys are definitely a different breed.
Oh, I mean, he was insane.
Yeah.
The stuff that he did.
Yeah, no doubt. Now, what do you think about CM Punk going to UFC? What did you think of that? Because I feel like he wasted away a lot of money.
Who was CM Punk?
So
bring us in on this.
so-
The rest of the world.
So yeah, I'll be honest. So CM Punk was a world champion in WWE. He was making he's probably the biggest name at that time.
He was like this huge fan favorite, and everybody loved him. I never quite got it.
I didn't either.
He had a falling out with the McMahons. He left. Then he was going to reinvent himself as an MMA fighter. And then there was this delay and that delay and this delay and whatever. And then when he did actually do
They basically signed him just based on his popularity. Like,
Which I can see a lot of wrestling fans wanting to watch him for one fight
Right.
until he got his head kicked in.
that's what happened.
But you look at
I can see that happening though. Like,
Right.
But he came back and now he's doing stuff on Fox and you have like half the people are like losing their minds. Oh my God, CM Punk's back, and the rest of them are like,
yeah, I can see.
Oh, is he
how
back?
yeah, he's doing Fox Sports.
He's not doing
okay.
MMA.
Yeah, he's not doing MMA.
Okay.
No. So
I would go into that like
in his
McGregor went
defense-
into boxing. Like, this is a one and done. Like,
in his defense, though, he fought like a killer, like a really good MMA guy. And I don't know why they set him up with this guy.
because they won it. Because
They gave him 2 years.
Who did he sign with? Did he sign
UFC.
with Dana? UFC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dana wanted to, in my opinion,
No, he wanted the viewers.
yeah, he wanted the viewers, but also wanted to establish this is MMA. This is for real.
Well, he wanted the
Must have been.
he wanted the credibility of having a world class name there.
Yes.
Rather than,
Which Brock went in there and he did great.
Brock was fantastic.
Yeah.
Lesnar, but
But that's a man's man.
I would see videos of that guy training and stuff, the MMA stuff that guy was a monster.
Yeah. I mean, and MMA guys are just on a different level too because they are legitimately insane.
Yeah. Did you see the? Yeah. We'll go down a rabbit hole of MMA. But yeah. So with wrestling, I expected your one of your favorite wrestlers to have been Jimmy Superfly because you said your finishing move would have been flying off the top turnbuckle.
He did. This was a frog splash or a splash.
Yeah.
Mine would actually be where I would flip and turn over in air.
Like who did that?
Lindsay Dorado.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
So what do you think your biggest struggle right now is?
People still don't know we're here.
Yeah.
2 years of doing shows and people that live 5 minutes, 10 minutes from the brewery are like, there's wrestling at the brewery? There's wrestling in Vero?
Yeah, it is hard. It's hard to get the word out. It is hard to get the word out.
I post in every group. We've been in Hometown News maybe 5 or 6 times.
Do you find any advertisement works better than others?
I've tried several different ones. We're going to be, I think it's the third or fourth time in the City Guide.
Okay.
Vero Beach and Sebastian. But we're generally back where the calendar is, which is 130 pages into it.
Yeah.
But we're on the calendar page. But we tried.
That's the only page I read, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, but we tried Vero. Was it Vero Living or Vero Beach Living?
Okay. Yeah. That's a magazine, isn't it?
Yeah, we were told, and we couldn't find it. And I said, I paid all this money out, and I can't find it anywhere. And they're like, oh, it's all over the place. We can't find it, and if we can't find it, other people can't find it.
Yeah.
Right.
They deliver it to John's Island? I don't know.
I don't know. They were like, we mail it out, and we deliver it, and it's in all these places. And we're like, we can't find it.
Yeah, that's hard. Well, it might be hard for them too. I can't speak to their business model or plan or whatever because I'm sure they're trying to be strategic. Because obviously they don't want you to do bad; they want you to do great in whatever you advertise.
Back.
Yeah. We had everything coded.
Have you done any radio or anything?
We've done radio. We've done TV ads.
Have you done local radio? Like what is it? 93.7. It's the local guys.
Yeah, we've done Jack FM. We did the country station.
Does that work out very well for you, or
actually, Jack worked better than the country. We thought the country was going to work better.
Yeah, is it expensive to do radio? I've never looked into it.
Not as much as you think.
Okay.
Actually, television was cheaper than anything that we thought was going to be.
Really?
And we aired
television marketing is just television advertising. No, who watches it anymore with TVR?
But
or DVR.
What we did was we aired on a bunch of networks, but we aired during Monday Night Raw and SmackDown.
Okay.
So we made sure that for 2 weeks in a row our ad played, and it was funny because people are like, I'm sitting there the first time it came on, it was like at 8:45, 8:50. People are like, did you know that you have an ad on television? I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I think I do because I'm the one that edited it.
That's awesome.
They expected a check from somewhere.
Yeah.
They didn't put us on out of the kindness of their heart.
We just didn't get on there. But we aired for, I think we aired 2 250 times, and it was $1,500.
I don't think that's bad at all.
No.
250
And-
add for $1,500,
Yeah,
and that was on TV.
On television. We aired,
I kind of just want to get on TV for $1,500.
I want to say it was like 12 or 14 different networks we aired on.
Yeah.
But we were on ESPN. We were on Fox Sports. We were on all these different networks.
I kind of just want to get on and be like, "Hi, Mom, I made it."
Don't skip me. All right.
I think people don't realize subliminally I'm like in the background of every little shot there.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm probably in the background going.
That's awesome. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. Now, do you put those commercials in your social media as well?
When we do them, yeah. I still do. We do teasers and clips for upcoming shows that's on our social media.
So what's the big match that's coming up?
I have a tag match, and it's the first time these guys have tagged. I believe it's Gabe-Zilla, Gabriel Lacey, and the nuclear-powered mutant Leon Scott. They're both over 6'6" and 300 pounds.
Big
So they're small.
Against our champions.
That's Jeremy Keene.
Tech, and one of the guys from Tech like messaged me and he goes, "You don't like me very much, do you?" And I said, "Why?" And he goes, "I'm supposed to be the big guy in Tech, and I look like I look delicate beside these guys." I'm like, yes.
That's awesome.
But yeah, we've got our women's champion Casey Lennox going against the Queen of Crazy, Kylan King.
I like the
Last
name.
show, she actually attacked the champion after the match and beat her with her own belt.
Okay.
And beat up the referee and everything. So, I felt that rivalry is not done, and I'm putting them back in the ring together.
I like it.
Nice.
I like it.
And what day is this?
January 11th,
At what time?
noon,
At the Walking Tree Brewery.
Walking Tree Brewery.
Okay. And how much are tickets?
15 for general admission, 20 for ringside, and
Guys,
children's
Pay the $20. A chair might hit your beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
General admission for children is free with a paid adult.
That's awesome.
Absolutely
That's
awesome.
fantastic.
That is.
But ringside
Again, bringing me back to my childhood. Like, that is awesome.
But usually we only charge $5, and we thought, why are we charging $5? Let the kids come on.
Because
let them see it.
Because even as a parent, right? Like it's one less bill, but it's one more thing that we can do together. And
Go ahead.
and it becomes a family event, right? Because
we have a lot of fun, and I brought you a little care package. And in it, we're one of the few companies that have our own line of trading cards. So we've got the kids buying the trading cards and getting the wrestlers to sign them.
that's awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
We've got a food truck there and vendors with toys and
I truly appreciate
awesome.
though the free kids because I come from a big family, not a lot of money at all. So we wouldn't have been able to afford to go to a show. But if you let the kids in for free, the adult could come and it could have been something that we could have actually gone and done, But like, even at $5, you times that by 6 kids and that's $30 and,
Well, I was talking to this grandmother and she's brought her kids, her grandkids twice. And she brings like 2 at a time and it's never the same 2. And I finally said, how many grandkids do you have? And she goes like 8. Yeah. And I said, you know what? What if I just, you'd have to have 2 adults to watch that many kids. But what if I just waived it? Oh, we'd bring them all.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely bring them all.
That's awesome.
Because, they might buy merchandise off of us. They might buy off the wrestlers. The food trucks benefit.
That's just it.
Or they might just get,
but
they might start liking the sport, like you did as a 5-year-old. You got to go to the show and they might be a lifelong fan. You might build a lifelong fan out of letting them come in for free,
I got a couple people that are working with us now that I think are going to get signed.
Yeah.
And I think it would be very cool to be like, I saw them when.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, everybody wants to be the one that saw, the big, they wanted to be the one.
The Rock.
The Rock, or they want to be the ones that saw Metallica play, at their high school prom, or, not to say that, but they saw.
But that's the truth, yeah.
Everybody wants to be that, not just because you want to be like, I saw, but be able to just be like, to know for yourself, not to know for social media and everybody else, but like, when I saw him, he was that good. Like, I knew it when I saw him.
And right now they're accessible.
Yes. They're accessible. You can take a picture with them, probably.
Yeah, because if you go to, let's say you go to NXT down in Fort Pierce tomorrow night.
Okay.
And they're only going to have 2 or 3 people out doing photographs and signs because the WWE is so strict now on their meet and greet because a fan brought a gun. The wrestlers aren't coming out and doing all that like they used to. It's not like it was 3 years ago.
Okay.
Even two years ago. Because I went down and I was like, oh, I'm going to say hi to the guy. Well, you can't go back there. Why? We don't allow fans back there. You can't even take a purse into the Fence Center.
Jeez.
Because nothing that you can conceal anything in. Fanny pack, maybe.
Yeah.
They let me take a little itty-bitty little bag that I've got because I had a rescue inhaler in it.
Okay.
And that was the only reason I was allowed to bring it. I had to show them everything in the bag.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Because, the world's changed.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's
So definitely, I definitely would recommend folks, to go out and have a good time, have a good beer, and have some good food truck.
Oh yeah,
Food.
Food truck. And if you're not a drinker, I mean, there is water and sodas and juice and Gatorade.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a huge beer fest. It's just a good venue to have it, right?
You have so much space, and it's so open, and people can move around, and you can sit wherever you want to sit, and and I like it, and I'm very strict with the guys, and they don't like it, but no profanity.
Yeah. Well,
There's words that'll slip out once in a while, but
Sure.
it's nothing like major. But no weapons.
that's
no
good
bleeding.
practice for them, though, because, I mean, do they use profanity in WWE?
Yes.
Do they?
Do they really?
Sometimes. There are certain words you can and cannot say.
Okay.
There are certain shows here in Florida that are very profane
Okay.
and do weapons and bleeding and barbed wire, and that's garbage. I'd rather just let them tell a story in the ring and entertain, and whatever it is that they're going to do, as silly as they want to get, and have a good time. I don't feel that you need to do all this over the top, cutting yourself and
Yeah.
it's just garbagey. These guys don't need that to get over with the fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Yeah.
You guys heard it. January 11th, Walking Tree Brewery, next match. We will be there, Full Gorilla Life, checking it out for the first time. First show. Have you ever been to a show?
I have not. I've been to a wrestling show, but I've never been to the Walking Tree one. So it'll be fun. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, and I've never been to a wrestling show or Walking Tree, so it'll all be new for me. I'm excited about it. But guys, make sure you go down and check it out.
And if you guys pay attention, I might break whatever glass Corey has in his hand just to be part of the show. Okay.
You can hit him with a chair. I won't say a word.
Maybe we'll hit Jeremy for not showing up tonight.
There we go.
All right.
So
before we get you out of here,
where can they find you actually?
All of our social media is at Ignite Wrestling. So we're Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Webpage?
TikTok?
IgniteWrestling.com.
You guys on TikTok?
TikTok, Ignite Wrestling.
Okay.
We're on TikTok, but we don't have any content.
I don't have anything really on TikTok.
I want to be on TikTok, but I can't. I don't know.
Now, I occasionally will do. I will occasionally do a Snapchat filter or frame. So when you get down there and you take a Snapchat, it'll say Ignite Wrestling around your picture.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, cool.
We've done that. We can geolocate. You can geolocate for $20 and do a little frame.
Oh, okay. That's not bad at all.
That's not bad.
We geolocate it to Walking Tree. So and we tell people, snap us out.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
We can tick, but we can't talk. All right.
All right. Before we let you go, what is one of the most important pieces of advice that you feel like you could give our listeners based on your life experiences?
Don't let anybody tell you how far you can go. I was told that I couldn't be a promoter. I was told that no one would respect me. I was told that no one would work for me. And I have the largest independent wrestling social media presence in Florida right now.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Listen, we think you're a spectacular person. Thank you for coming onto the show, Kim.
Yeah.
And
We appreciate it for sure.
Thank you
And
so much.
We're looking forward to seeing you on January 11th.
That one?
Wrong one.
Is that one right there?
This is Larry
Hey, guys.
working the board. Turn off the other one, maybe. All right, guys, we appreciate it. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, email us at fullgorillalife@gmail.com. Also, check out our social media at Full Gorilla Life on Facebook and Instagram, and at Gorilla Full with FULL at the end on Twitter.
Also, don't forget to look for us on YouTube at Full Gorilla Life. And last but not least, please feel free to go visit us on our website, fullgorilla.life. And please, please, please subscribe, like, share,
All that good
all
stuff.
that good stuff.
Guys,
And
thanks for listening.
Oh, one more thing. Listen to us on your favorite podcast app of choice. Available on Apple Podcast. I'm doing this just to
Yes. Okay.
annoy. Adios.